I want to talk about neutralizing your inner critic, okay? The thing is, you can't indulge the inner critic. What do we mean by the inner critic? It's that voice in your head. It's that part of your mind which needs to put you down, tell you you're not good enough, you're stupid, it's not going to work out, people think you're a joke, you're a loser, you're a failure, why bother, nothing's going to work out in the long run, everything horrible is going to happen, you stink, you're stupid, you're unlovable, you're not attractive, you're fat, you're ugly, whatever. This voice keeps putting you down and telling you why bother, you're unworthy, you're a piece of crap, you don't deserve happiness or success, and you're never going to get it, you're unlucky, whatever it is, whatever the litany is of trash talk against yourself, attempting to reinforce these self-definitions which are not true. You have bought into a belief that you are all of these things, and this voice somehow is reinforcing it at the same time that it's trying to, get it through your thick skull that you're a big loser, but you're not a big loser. You are what you decide to be. You are what you define yourself to be. You choose who you are and what you will be, regardless of what you've been in the past, regardless of how you've behaved in the past, regardless of how people have behaved towards you in the past. You are the master of your destiny. You are the architect of your future. You can change. You can change your mind. You can change your life. And a big way to make that change in your mind is first to stop that inner critic talking. You need to shut it down. You need to tell it to shut up and go away and haunt somebody else, that you don't want its help. You don't need its input or its advice or guidance. You want it to just shut up and go away. I'm going to handle my life from now on. I'm going to make my decisions. I don't need you telling me that I'm not good enough and it's not going to work out. I'm going to go forward, and if it doesn't work out, I'll be an adult and I'll live with it. I'll deal with it. So if it doesn't work out, okay, I'll deal with the fallout. I'll deal with the rejection. I'll deal with the failure. I'll deal with the shame, the humiliation, whatever it might be. It won't be pleasant, I understand, but I will deal with it. If it happens, I will deal with it. But I'm not going to set myself up for failure and quit and immobilize myself or paralyze myself or sabotage myself because I think I'm not good enough. I think it won't happen. I think I can't do it. I think people... No. I want to take my shot, good, bad, or ugly. I want to take my shot, go after my dream, and maybe it'll work out. And if it doesn't work out, I'll brush myself off and get back on the bicycle and start pedaling again. Inner critic, shut it down. Tell it to shut up. You need to shut down that thing, that obsessive ruminating dialogue where you not only is it the inner critic telling you a bunch of crap, but also when you sit around ruminating over the past and dwelling on what he said and what you said, what you could have said, what you should have said, why they said it, how come, how did that happen, how could that be, it isn't fair, whatever it is, you're just going over analyzing the past over and over and over again, just reminding yourself, reinvesting in it. It's over, it's done, it's water under the bridge, it's spilled milk, and you just can't stop thinking about the past and maybe about resenting someone or feeling vengeful towards someone or whatever it might be, feeling sorry for yourself, feeling that you're the victim, you were victimized, maybe you were. It's over. You need to stop living in the past, ruminating in the past, and you need to shut down the inner critic. Shut it all down. So when you try to do that, if you try to be vigilant over your thoughts, you recognize you're obsessing, you recognize the inner critic is jamming you, what do? You try to stop immediately and then distract yourself. So you tell the inner critic to shut up, or you tell yourself to shut up and stop thinking about the past or stop worrying about the future. And and then you got to distract yourself. Then you've got to put your mind someplace else and try to get your mind wrapped around some other activity. So maybe it's like petting the dog or watering the plants or feeding the dog or listening to some music or browsing the internet or reading some posts or whatever it might be. You got, playing a video game, talking to somebody on the phone. Get your mind off of your self-obsession and your negativity and your preoccupation with the past. And then when your mind tries, that part of your mind tries to drag you back in, then you got to go, hey, wait a second. I guess you didn't understand me. I don't want your input. Shut up. Go away. I don't want to be ruminating over the past. I'm not going to anymore. And then you distract yourself again. You put your mind someplace else. Try to get into that hobby, that interest, that other person, that other thing, whatever it might be. Another thought. Just get your mind focused on something else. If you finally are able to distract yourself and get yourself wrapped into some other thing, then you're not doing this old behavior. Guess what? Your mind is going to try to bring you right back to it again and again and again. It wants to know if you really mean business or not. So it's going to, you say no, it's not respecting your boundary. You say to it, guess what? I'm not going to change my mind. I told you I don't want your help, and that's the way it goes. And you have to keep on doing this. At the beginning, it's really difficult. It's really hard to continually tell your mind to shut up, tell the inner critic to shut up, and then distract yourself and put your attention elsewhere. It's very difficult at the beginning. It gets easier. The amount of time that you spend not ruminating, not putting yourself down, gets longer. It takes practice and persistence. But if you want to change a really bad habit, one that you've been doing for years, perhaps decades, then you must be vigilant over your thoughts and correct the bad thoughts. Tell yourself to shut up. Tell the inner critic to go away every single time. You don't indulge it. You don't indulge it. Okay? You don't indulge the negativity. You must shut down that dialogue. And eventually, sooner or later, the subconscious mind, the inner critic goes, oh, I guess they mean business. I guess I've wasted my time. And it gets quiet. The voice gets more quiet. It doesn't jump in as much. You're able to tune it down and tune it out much faster every single time. It gets the message that you're not falling for it, and the voice gets quiet. It does become easier. It does become easier. And of course, you want to replace the inner critic with the inner colleague, right? A voice from your higher self, from a more evolved self, right? So the inner critic and the negative voice is more sort of almost like the primitive reptile brain sort of. It's like it's not evolved. It's not wise. You do have a wise higher self, an intuitive self that you can also tap into. That voice of the higher inner colleague of the higher self has been drowned out by this negative ego voice. Telling you you're no good, telling you you're stupid, whatever, dwelling on the past or worrying about the future and not being in the present, not being in the now. So there is a higher voice within you, an inner colleague that you can, when you get calm and quiet, perhaps you meditate, perhaps you do yoga, whatever. If you can get quiet, and think about solutions to a problem, brainstorming solutions to a problem. What should I do? If you get quiet, there will be an intuition. There will be a message. There will be a voice from your higher self that may suggest and guide you to a better way, a different way of looking at it, a different way of reacting, a better way, a healthier way, a happier way. Right? Quiet your mind, turn off the negativity, reinforce this repeatedly, persist, persevere. You will change your mind, you will be happier and more at peace, and your world will work better. Everything will synchronize and kind of synergize with your goals and your dreams a whole lot better when you get rid of this inner critic and you get rid of ruminating over the past, fixating on the future, being frozen with fear. You're more able to be in the now, to be happier and carefree. Okay.